And the first thing. That would be kind of nice. It's kind of dark. The first thing is understanding the topic. And I know this is a very gabby group, and so you all are really going to have to try to focus, and I know how difficult it is on a Friday afternoon, 7th period, to focus. But I need you to really work to focus so that first we understand what you're going to be researching, and then the research, you're probably one of the only freshman groups that is going to do this extensive of research at the high school. And I'll tell you what, this topic would be difficult for me to do. I'm glad I don't have to do this essay. Okay, so grab your essay. Everybody have it, because we're going to read through this and try to understand it, make sense. It's that national peace essay, and I bet there's some more back there if you've lost yours and can't find it. So I'll give you a minute or two to make sure everybody has it. National Peace Essay Contest. Okay, and a student asked last period, or actually 5th period, ask if you get money, and I do believe you do, and we have had winners from here off and on. It's like $1,000, I think, and you also get a free trip to DC. So it's kind of involved, but this is probably one of the hardest assignments we ever ask you guys to do at the high school, is this peace essay thing. The reason being is you don't really pay that much attention to what's going on in the world, and it deals with world, not just the United States, and then current stuff. So anyway, let's start with, and you know guys, I still don't know your names very much. Sarah, could you read the question? Intro to the question. Yes.
Transitioning to peace and
Democratic
governments raises challenging questions about how to handle security forces. What do you do with a police force that has been trained to serve a repressive government and protect the status quo? What do you do with an army that has been fighting in a civil war? What do you do with rebel forces that may know how to fight but know very little about the civilian life?
Okay, so what is a repressive government? Anybody know what a repressive government is? When you are repressed, you're like stamped on and put down. It's actually a dictatorship that is very cruel, very horrible to the people. Is a repressive government. You like have no rights. That's what somebody said 5th period. No rights at all in your government. Okay? These right here, those countries over there, and you might want to write down a few of them when you get a chance, are some of those that kids have picked, because you're going to have to pick 2 countries with repressive governments who are trying to transition to better and more democratic governments. Do you see them way over there? Singapore, Colombia, all those. Those are the countries. That's not exhaustive, though. That's not all the countries in the world that have had this happen. There are others. There's a lot more in Africa, actually, I'm sure. Okay? So, what is a security sector reform? Anybody have ideas? Security sector reform. Because that is the big question that you're trying to figure out here. Anybody have ideas about that? Megan? Want to have a guess? Security. Who in our country gives us security? There's 2 major groups. actually, overall they do.
CIA.
What? The military, okay? Military's a big one. And then who in this town makes us safe?
The police.
The cops, the police. So those are the two words you're going to be looking for in your research. Policemen and military, because those are the security forces in the countries that are trying to keep those countries safe. Okay? Now, I'll give you an example. Libya. And they're up there. And they had a horrible dictator. Horrible. Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi. He reigned for over 30, 35 years. Reigned with terror. Horrible terror those people had daily. If you said anything against them, wrote anything, maybe even if you didn't, if it was rumored, you got thrown into prison, you got killed, you were tortured, died, all this stuff. Well, and I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 years ago, the people rose against him. And they killed him, and along with him, they killed a lot of the security forces, his policemen and stuff. Why would they want to kill those people also?
Because they also supported the...
Exactly. They supported him. And that was their jobs, to support him. So along with overthrowing that whole regime in Libya, then they have to get a new security force there in Libya to help run things. And they had elections, and they have tried to change. They have new police force, but there's a lot of problems. There are a whole lot of problems within Libya because of a lot of the old ones dying and then trying to figure out how to run a government. Does that make sense? Do you kind of get what a security reform is, what we're kind of talking about? Okay, and the issues. Okay, so let's go down to the bottom, the actual question. And let me pick on you. Will you read the first bullet? In your analysis, discuss the following in 1,500 words. Okay, go ahead.
Your argument for how best to reform the security sector within society is information.
Okay, let's see. Nick, will you read the next one? The next bullet down at the bottom.
For your argument by briefly analyzing 2 cases from the past 30 years of countries in transition from war to peace or from authoritarian to democratic governments.
Okay, so you have to pick 2 countries within the last 30 years. Somebody asked last period why Cuba was marked off, because Cuba still is an authoritarian regime. They haven't tried to change. If they ever try to change to democratic, then Cuba would be one that you could write on, but they haven't. And somebody else asked about North Korea. Is North Korea a democratic government, or is it a dictatorship?
Dictatorship.
Yeah, very, very severe control over everything in North Korea. So you can't use North Korea. Okay, the next bullet. Would you read the next bullet, please, for me?
Discuss the impact of successful reform of the security forces and sustained peace and/or the absence of such reform on the prospects for political change and sustainable peace.
Okay, and then the next bullet. Would you miss and read that?
Okay,
The 4th bullet.
so discuss whether the successful transformation of the security forces in post-war societies will differ from achieving security reform in societies in political transition.
Okay, and then the last one. Would you read that, please?
Drawing upon your 2 case studies, identify challenges to security sector reform and conditions that allow it to take place successfully.
Okay, so it's all those elements that you're going to be looking for within 2 countries. Now, what I did to try to make your lives a little bit easier is he wants 5 sources, and you have to have 5 sources. That's the baseline. And I assume that probably all of you will have more than 5. But he wants 5 sources to be from the databases. And you guys, have you ever been on the databases before?
Nope.
Okay, awesome, awesome. The databases, and I'll give you a little bit of background. You guys hang with me, pay attention, okay? Don't be typing, listen up. The databases are on the gowild.net and they're from the state. And the state actually buys these for us to use for research. And they spend close to $1 million for you guys to have these available. And that's what they're for. They're for research. Google, can you trust the stuff that you use on Google? A lot of times there's no author, a lot of times there's no date, and you don't even know if somebody putting themselves up as whatever expert is an expert. And so that's why these databases are so wonderful. They're authored, there's dates, they're published, and it's authoritative information. So on this, we'll go ahead and bring it up. You can get there a couple different ways. You can get onto the school website. Do you guys know how to get to the school website? Go ahead and get on there. To the school website. Everybody there?
Everybody
Hang
needs
with
to
me.
go.
You just open it in Explorer.
Yeah, stay right there.
Yeah. Open it in Explorer. And now if you go to academic resources. Go to academic resources.
You got it?
Why is mine not working? There we go. So click on academic resources. And here you have our card catalog, Destiny, and then research databases right underneath here. Now, the problem you guys will have if you ever use these at home, and I will work during this year, I'll get you library cards, public library cards. You have to have public library cards in order to access these from home. If you use them at school, no problem. They automatically get you in, and you can get the information and everything. But using them from home, you have to have your library card and the PIN number. You also can, and you can write this on your sheet, because this is quicker, just type in gowild.net. GOWYLD.net. And it'll take you directly in there. And these are all the databases. And it is phenomenal what is on here. And I'm going to give you a couple different things before we actually get to where we're going to go. But just to give you a little bit of a preview, Zenio, they have over 150 magazines with your library card and PIN number that you can access and read. They have Learn the Language, a language program that speaks and listens to you, follows you along. They have ebooks. They have audiobooks, one-click digital, free audiobooks that you can actually download onto whatever you have, your iPhone or whatever. And then these are all the subject areas that they have. They have history, English, crafts. I mean, they have a ton of stuff. What is so funny, you guys? Okay, so anyway, you guys in the high school, student research, click on that. And these are all the high school. Not all of them, but a lot of them. The databases. Okay, everybody with me? Everybody with me? Find global issues in context. And on your piece of paper, and go ahead and click into global issues. I actually did a search and tried to make your life easier and tried to find, and these are ones where I could actually, global issues is the only one that had security sector reform, the actual subject in it. So that is going to be the best one for you guys. So write these down on your piece of paper. These are the databases on the gowild.setnet site that you're going to want to use. So global issues, opposing viewpoints, academic search, and e-library. So write those down somewhere, somehow. Hopefully you won't lose your paper. So global, opposing, academic, and e-library. Now the three topics that you guys are gonna be looking under. So it's security sector reform, and look on your piece of paper under like the question or whatever, what are the other two topics? Read them to me, would you, since you're looking at it? Would you read those up there? Yeah, these three things right there.
Security sector reform, political transition, and sustainable peace.
So those three topics are things you're going to be looking for. Those are your keywords. So security sector reform, sustainable peace, and political transition, was it?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Political transition? Okay. Now these are different than the open internet. But I call them one-stop shopping because on the open internet, you get a lot of crap you don't want, don't even know if it's the right topic, and it's keyword search basically on the open internet. It's not subject searching. You guys think it's subject searching, but it's not on the open internet. It's keyword searching. On these, they have and this is all together on one website, like with global issues. They have magazines, newspapers, websites, videos, books, reference books. I'm trying to think what else, even more. There's even a lot more things. They have pictures, they have picture files. So a lot of stuff altogether. Once you find your topic, then you could have your 5 sources really easily just off global issues in context. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So it's just different, but they're a little bit different interface than the open internet, but we were going to go ahead and click into global issues and then type security sector reform. And Friday afternoon, the computers are always slower. I think everybody gets bored on a Friday afternoon and they want to search the internet. That's my thought in the work world. So type it in where you see that search thing up there. Type it in, and then you do your search.
Is it just loading?
Hey, is it bringing it up? Is it bringing it up?
Security sector reform.
Okay, who did it? Who's not working? Are you kind of waiting for it? Did yours not work?
Chris got it?
Maybe you typed it wrong. I bet you did. You spelled it wrong or something. Yeah. Yes. Try it again. You must have misspelled it. Because there's a lot of results. Okay, so if you arrow kind of down through there, or even look up here, look at the top here. Okay, what is this?
Global viewpoint.
There's news, academic journals, and reference. So those 4 things. Nick. These 4 things are contained in here. These are main topics of information. Okay? So global viewpoints. How many do they have of global viewpoints? Shania, how many? 6. Yeah, they have 6 total, but they're showing you 3, and if you view 6, it takes you to the rest of those. Arrow down, and what do we find next? News. News. So newspaper articles, magazine articles. How many of those are here, Nick?
165.
Right, so there's a lot of magazine newspaper articles. Keep on going, academic journals. Probably a little bit technical. When you get to college, you will be searching probably only in academic journals, in large part. They're pretty academic. Keep on going. The last one? How many references are there? Okay. Now, when you're starting a search, and you're doing a topic, and say you decide you're going to do it on Iraq, would you want a newspaper article on that, or would you want a book information, like reference material on it?
On Iraq.
When you're starting a search for a topic, do you want to start big and then narrow down, or do you want to narrow down and then go to big?
Start big.
You always start big. So the reference books are the spot. Those are perfect. And you read through those. If you just look what is here, these you could use for your research. And there is your article right there. Okay, there's 3 of them that would be very, very awesome. Case study in security sector reform. And this one's in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, we're having a lot of problems. They are with the security police forces. You know, we're trying to withdraw, and they have a lot of terrorism and stuff going on in Afghanistan. So Afghanistan would be a really good one to choose. But that one's on Afghanistan. There's another one. The other one is another, I think, Afghanistan one. Okay, so let's click into the article. Let's go ahead and click into the one on Afghanistan, the first one. Okay, what is the tools? What can you do with this then on the right-hand side? What can you do with these articles? Anybody see what the tools say? Go ahead.
Print review, bookmark, email, download MP3, download, citation tools, PDF, share, and add to marketplace.
So how is this better than the open internet with what you can do with this information?
Citation.
You have everything there. You can put it, Nick, please don't talk while I'm talking. You can put it on an MP3 or your iPods and take stuff with you and listen. You can email it to yourself. You can download it and save it on your hard drive, which however you want to do this today, but we are going to try to get 5 sources. So you'll have a base for when you actually write this essay if you don't write it this weekend. Then you'll have 5 good sources. Now later on, you'll maybe think, okay, I got to write it. You know, it gets closer to December, I'm going to have to write it. Then you check your sources, and you probably will use other ones. But at least you will have the beginning research done, your 5 sources. And then citation tools, it's all there in MLA format. And you have to make sure on these databases that you click MLA. The last edition, 7th edition, it puts it just however. It's down at the bottom of this article is the MLA format for you. Always here are related subjects. So over there, you can kind of look. Sometimes you can narrow, sometimes you can broaden topics over there. Okay? If maybe you're wanting to go in a different direction. A lot of you need some overview stuff, and then you've got to kind of figure out which 2 countries am I going to research and do. And once you get to the countries, then you're probably going to want to you could do it in global, or you could do it in any of these. eLibrary is really nice. A lot of the kids really like the eLibrary database. Just put Iraq in, and it will give you what is going on in Iraq now, and articles and stuff. Do you have questions about that? And it's a little bit more difficult with these computers because you don't have a mouse. But you're trying to select all or download it all, stick it onto your flash drive. And I see Shania has a flash drive. That's awesome. She can save hers all on her flash drive. Try not to get frustrated because of having to deal with no mouse. I know it is kind of frustrating on these computers to do more than just read and type. Okay, so you're going to want to save 5 articles. You can also, and this is the last thing that I'm going to let you guys do your business, you can just copy and paste a URL and put that in a Word document. And then when you go to look at it, you click on your URL, it takes you to the article that you had looked up. But you need to try to get 5 sources today. Okay, so this is one, and it's a very good source. And we'll give you, if you read through there, we'll give you some awesome information. Now, how have I lost any or all of you? Questions? Yes.
How do we find the different sources? Are they just all in this, or different places we need to go, or?
That is an awesome question. Within this database, there's 166 sources of newspaper articles. The overviews, there were 3. You really wouldn't have to go to a different database. You could just use this. And even if it's from the same magazine, as long as it's a different article, you can use it. So all you need are 5 sources. Okay? Any more questions?
How much work do you recommend doing on this before we get closer to it?
I would get your sources and I would try to read through your sources. And that's a good question. And just so you have your base, and then when you go to do your essay, you have your base, and then you can really decide what you want to do, maybe get a few more articles and then write it. Okay? And Dr. McGee does not give you much class time to do stuff. And so this is a gift today to have time to actually get some research. Any more questions? I love questions. Please ask. Yep?
So wait, do you save the sources somehow, or do you look at them?
Exactly. Okay, can anybody answer that? Do you save the sources?
Yes.
Okay?
Easy bit.
On a flash drive? On your home. You always have to do a save as, guys. Don't just do save, because where does it save it then?
Your computer.
On the computer. And then you won't have it. Another thing that one of the girls did earlier, Jessica Salzman, she clicked on here, that star, and it's a favorites. And she saved them within her favorites. So it will maintain her favorites. Okay? Another place on all these databases, you can create a username and a password up here. You can click all your articles into on your username and your password. Which that's another really, really nice thing. The open web doesn't have the majority of all these wonderful things that are on these databases. Damon,
Yeah, can we easy bib them?
can you easy bib?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would use EasyBib because, and that is a great question. EasyBib is like a condensed form of citations. And on the databases, you have to cite, thank you for asking this, Dalen, you have to cite this stuff, and you also have to cite the database. And you will see that, let me arrow down, let's arrow down to the bottom of this article. Arrow down to the very bottom. And the other thing, if you print, and some of the kids printed, they are long. They're like 60 pages sometimes. Some of these more academic articles. So be careful. And I like to print. I'm actually a printer and I like to read it. But see here down at the bottom, see, you have to cite even global issues in context and the web and stuff, not only author, title, and all that. And I'm not sure all of that is on EasyBib, Dalen. And we do use Noodle tools here at the high school because it's more complete bibliography maker than EasyBib.
So do you want us to do that?
But keep your citation information. Copy and paste it so you have your citation information. So when you have to put it together, all you have to do is copy and paste it and put it on your... So, did I answer your question? Okay. Who else? Who else had a question?
I answered a question if you copy and paste the citation that they have first down there, but you answered
Yes.
it, so.
Yeah, you can. Any more questions? So 5 sources. Okay, couple overviews, and then try to find specific countries that you're going to narrow down. If you pick your countries today, that's awesome, because you're that much further down the road.
When you say, do you want 5 citations on each subject, or?
No.
Okay.
5 total. So it's a very minimal amount of citations. You're probably going to need more. Shania.
Oh, I just had a question first.
Okay.